Dave Dodson, the Stanford Graduate School of Business professor extraordinaire, overall smart man, and he remembers, young as he looks, maybe that Johnson & Johnson lesson. What do you think? I mean, still early, Norfolk Southern hasn't botched things here. It's just late in responding to things, but what do you think?
I'm sorry, Neil, but I think when they were faced with their moment of truth, I give them a failing grade. They really failed. This is not a legal issue. This is a leadership issue. And this is what happens when something happens like this and you bring your lawyers together for advice. The first thing they should have done is he should have gotten all of his executives together, told them to take off their ties, tell their families they'll be back in quite a while, and got a box of pens and pads of paper and gone door to door and talked to people. Because the first thing people needed to know in East Palestine is that they were listening. Because before, their immediate response was to give answers. And if they want to take you to their backyard to see the soot and the debris on their swing set, you go in the backyard. And then after that, you come back, and this is what Tylenol did, or Johnson & Johnson did, which is what Norfolk hasn't done. As you say, what would be an appropriate response given what we learned from the people in East Palestine? And when you have that together, then you say the simple thing, you use the power of 10. You say, okay, now tell me what it would look like if we did 10 times that response. And that's where they failed.
That's interesting. You know, I remember Jim Burke, the former CEO, covered that story 40 years ago, hard to believe. And the one thing that was being debated in the boardroom, we're told, is that, well, you know, boss, it's really not our fault that someone contaminated these pills. He said, well, It's on us now, and we have to do something now. Now, what he did was so sweeping and expensive. It was unprecedented, but it worked. And the company still enjoys this solid reputation today. This is a tough time for Norfolk Southern to get over the initial bad first impression.
Yeah, I mean, that was what Johnson & Johnson did and Burke did, is he used the power of 10. I actually think he did two things. One, he used the power of 10. And the second thing is, I believe in my heart that what he thought at every response is he said, how will I be remembered by my children? By how I handled this situation, not how I will be remembered by my shareholders or by my lawyers. And that, again, Neil, is the difference between leadership and making this a legal matter. And if you want to build a great company, you need to be able to lead. And that is part of where they're failing right now. And the other thing is that you don't just check the box with an apology. They have been wronged. Okay, we don't know exactly everything that's happened yet, but they've been wronged. You apologize until they're ready to accept your apology. And if you don't know the answer to a question, you say, I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, I don't know the answer to that, but I care about it, and I will get back to you when I can.
That is very well put, Dave. You're right. We'll see what happens here. To Dave's point, though, you don't get a second chance to make a good first impression, but you do get an ongoing chance to make up for the fact that you didn't.